Hey guys, this is Eagz. No introduction here. We're just going to get straight into this video. This is me coaching Kev once again. He was like D3, D4, I think, in the last video I uploaded to YouTube publicly. So just like a brief overview of what happens in the early game here, guys. There's some stuff that happens level 1, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but just understand this. The clears were delayed for both junglers here, which is why at 4 minutes, you know, both Scuttle Crabs are probably up, and Kev hasn't even cleared all of his camps yet, and here comes the enemy Kha'Zix, right? So at the end of this play is what I really want to get into. So Kev knows that he can 1v1 the Kha'Zix because he has his E up. It's really broken on Bel'Veth. Combos really nicely. Knows he can't get into auto attacks there, otherwise he would die. So he has to pop his E, pretty much 1v1s the Kha'Zix, and Kalista gets the kill. Now, if we go back to Kha'Zix, right, what was he doing? Well, we just saw him bot, right? And he was level 3 with both buffs. So I'm guessing the Kha'Zix has gone something like blue, Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, red into this bot Crab. Remember how I said both clears were delayed here because of something that happened at level 1, and that's also why Kev, so the Bel'Veth's, blue buff is up as well. Now, in this situation, if I just rewind it a little bit here, I want you guys to actually, like, tell me, this is how you get better, right? You have to watch actively. I'm not just going to, like, talk to you about what Kev should do. I'm going to ask you questions, right? And this would happen in coaching sessions as well. So if you want challenger one-on-one coaching for every single role in the game, I don't give a fuck what champion you play. I've done it for pretty much everyone. You can add me on Discord and send me a message and stuff, and we can set something up. Anyway, so in this situation, right, Kha'Zix is dead for 8 seconds. Now, if Kev was to recall right here, his tempo is perfect with the Kha'Zix. That's what tempo is. I don't care what anyone else says or what you've been told. That's what tempo is. Whoever is running out of base first between you and your opponent, your direct opponent, the 1v1 or 2v2, I guess, for bot lane. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, Kev here can get the bot Scuttle Crab, right? He can also recall in this position, but the bot Crab is so close to him, and he'll still have time to do what, do you think? So if you've watched my videos before, I will talk a lot about timings, right? Now, in this game, let me even just go back here so we get a full understanding of when Kev actually cleared his Raptors. When Kev clears his Raptors here, okay, it's going to be like 2:20, right? So the Raptors are going to respawn at 4:35. So in this game, Kev should have that in his head. Now, in a normal game, you clear Raptors at like 1:40, right? That's why they respawn around 4 minutes. So in this game, it's 4:35. So if I was to forward this to this bot play, and we see here that it's already approaching the time for Raptors, what do you think Kev should do here? Do you think he should base? Do you think he should do Crab and Blue? Because what I said in the coaching session was, Kev, you only have time to do Crab here, and then you have to run back to your top side to protect those camps. Why? Because that's the counterplay that Kha'Zix has here. The Kha'Zix knows Kev is now running through. You can even see him before he clears this ward. He's running to the Scuttle Crab. He's telling the Kha'Zix, look, my body language, my clicks, my mouse clicks, are clicking towards Scuttle Crab. Therefore, I'm probably going to do the Scuttle Crab even after I clear this vision. So the Kha'Zix knows that Bel'Veth is lingering around bot side of the map. Also, the Kha'Zix might know that Bel'Veth's blue buff is up because, you know, Kev didn't actually have it when he was fighting, right? And he still doesn't have it. So Kha'Zix might think, right, this guy's going to do Crab and then his blue, which is exactly what Kev ends up doing. So Kha'Zix runs straight to Bel'Veth's Raptors here, which is actually a really good move. And this is why, guys, like, protecting counterplay is what's going to separate challenger junglers from everyone else. Remember, this might even be in, like, Master NA, so players aren't that bad. But this is what's going to be the difference maker between you crushing junglers and kind of just beating them a little bit. So you can beat them in terms of kills and assists, right? Your teammates can beat their laners, but what's really going to separate you is when you give them zero sniff, is when you give them zero counterplay and golden experience from your own camps. Now, of course, you can have some really good trades, right? Like, you might take Rift Herald and they take, I don't know, like a Dragon or Scuttle Crab bot side. No worries. And then you take the whole top side. For sure, there is some trading you might want to do with certain objectives or even some of your camps for other things. But for the most part, man, in the early game, what you really want to be doing when you get leads like this is protecting the other side of the map. So in your head, just remembering what the timers are. So if you start a red buff, it's probably going to be Krugs, right? At 4:20. Then Raptors at 4:40. Raptors here as well is where Kev should run, simply because if you're playing as Kha'Zix here, Raptors is closer to your safety, which is the middle of the map, right? If you go to Krugs, it's a little bit deeper and riskier to go towards, right? So this Kha'Zix makes the right play, and during the coaching session, I just told Kev, look, if you recalled before blue buff, you could meet this Kha'Zix on your Raptors and potentially kill this guy. Now, Kev actually makes a really good read here, because the Kha'Zix you can see here, guys, and this is to do with body language, the Kha'Zix here is actually shaping to go up to the top left of the map. Now, why would he be doing this? Let's have a think. What is above him here? Krugs. He knows that Bel'Veth's Krugs will be up as well if the Raptors are up, or they'll be up very soon. So by the time he's finished this, there's an excellent chance they're up as well, and they're level 4 Krugs. These are really important, right? So that's what the Kha'Zix ends up doing. Kha'Zix here should know that Bel'Veth can easily base and meet him on Krugs. So thankfully, in this game, the Kha'Zix makes a big mistake for greeding for both of these camps. If he was good, he would have just taken Raptors and then probably gone like his top side to bot, something like this, right? So thankfully, Kev makes an excellent read based off the Kha'Zix's body language. Just the fact he was shaping and telling Kev what his next move was, kind of like how Kev was saying, hey Kha'Zix, I'm going for the bot crab after I clear this ward, and maybe even my blue buff as well. So you see here how like both junglers, you can tell how they're probably in the same elo, right? Based on how they play. Kev thankfully picks up a kill here, and I told him pretty much again, like during coaching, why don't you just base here? Why would I say this? So what Kev ends up doing is like actually trying to run into the jungle, and then he sees GP. Looks like a free kill, right? Of course you don't want to do this on Bel'Veth, by the way, guys, with no E. Be very careful about doing stuff like this. Like without your E, you are the squishiest champion in the game. That's how you should think about it. Anyway, Kev here is clicking, clearly I think anyway, to think about going to Kha'Zix's top side. He knows that Kha'Zix spent all that time running out of base to run to his Raptors, so he probably hasn't done his Gromp or maybe even Wolves. But it's very, very risky because Kha'Zix is already alive in 8 seconds. It probably takes about 10 seconds to get to Gromp, maybe longer. And to do Wolves and Gromp takes about 15 seconds to do camps at this stage. It's very difficult to do at least even one of these given Kha'Zix's death timer, and even like GP might move over, Fizz as well is missing. Very hard to do that, right? So my call in the game was just to recall and just run to your bot side. Yes, he might only be able to get like a dagger or cloak if he wants to, but what are we actually going to do top side here? Nothing, right? We can recall and we can literally just run out straight to even Kha'Zix's Raptors, because we know Kha'Zix is going to go to Gromp most likely, given the fact that his initial clear in this game, remember, level 3, we killed him bot side, so he's gone top to bot. That's how junglers are probably going to path, man. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but Kha'Zix should actually know this here, and especially after this happens, this Kha'Zix should probably just go from like his Krugs Raptors to top side because GP's doing pretty well, and his bot lane is kind of getting stomped. So there's a couple of nuances here to think about, yeah? But it always revolves around enemy jungler, especially when you kill them like Kev did. Unfortunately, he just kind of like trolled himself by dying to the GP. But anyway, there's still some more stuff I want to get into. Running out of base here, Kev makes an excellent decision to go to the Kha'Zix's Raptors based on the fact, what we talked about, that Kha'Zix is probably going Gromp Wolves, and he has just enough time to actually do this here, and he also has Vladimir with his ult. But I told him here that when he was running out here, what he has to do is look a bit more intently at the bot lane HP. Not Kalista and Yuumi, because you're not killing your teammates, you're killing Alistar and Ashe or the enemy bot lane, right? So he doesn't really do a good enough job, in my opinion, of looking at the bot lane. You can tell, if you look at the mini-maps, that every time you're moving on the map, guys, you don't need to look at Bel'Veth here. Why do you need to look at her? Like, wow, look how awesome that classic skin is. Incredible, right? You don't need to look at her. You're looking at the map the entire time, and you can see that bot lane, Alistar actually goes in. So if I was playing as Bel'Veth here, this is pretty much what you do. You click like this, look at the map, look at the map, oh, hang on a second, there's a 5 bot. This should be where your camera instantly pans to bot. Now, there are like a couple of arguments here, maybe that Bel'Veth's going to hit level 5 off of these, but we already know, excuse me, we already know that Kha'Zix is probably doing Wolves, right, coming back down here, yeah? So we still have time to 3v2 bot. Kills are probably always going to be more important, guys, than getting camps or getting even 2 camps, I'd say. Simply because these camps might become even more free afterwards, and of course getting kills is going to deny more. Yes, you're denying a Raptor camp. Yes, maybe you even get Kha'Zix's Krugs if you save your smite here. Yes, that is a possibility, but killing the Ashe and Alistar and denying them maybe even like 2 minion waves and whatever else, that seems a lot better, right? So be super aware of the map. Every time you're movement commanding, you should be looking at the minimap and getting ready to react as soon as there is some sort of fight. So Kev ends up doing Raptors and coming back out because he knows Kha'Zix could be here, and it's a little bit risky given the fact his bot lane is going to recall right after getting kills. Please remember that, guys. Like, when your teammates get kills, in the early game, the enemy champions are dead only for a short period of time. Like, even here, Ashe is fucking alive and running out of base. The Alistar is now alive and running out of base. So if Kev was to go to Kha'Zix's Krugs, bro, like, just because your bot lane got kills, it doesn't mean they're going to be there. Especially Kalista, right? Like, this guy wants to base and cash in the chips, cash in the gold he's got. So Kev ends up doing Dragon. Then here he can just go to Gromp. And then what he does is very interesting. This is going to be like kind of the last sequence we look at here. He's going to end up recalling here. Now, the reason why recalling is bad, well, again, I want to ask you guys, so what do you think? Why is recalling after Gromp bad, but why do you think he's done it as well? So why do you think Kev has recalled, but why is it bad? So he's recalled here knowing, look in the top right for me, it's 8 minutes. Kev is recalled because obviously, like, we go on about Rift Herald, or I do anyway, but anyone in Challenger is going to talk about Rift Herald, right? It's the most important kind of thing on the map, I guess, in the first 10 minutes, okay? Because it gives you so much gold, and latent gold as well if you can get first towers and stuff. So Kev recalling here is good based on the timing for Rift Herald. But it's very difficult for Kha'Zix to go and hit Rift Herald, right? Given the fact that Vladimir is chilling, given the fact that Lilia has priority, and also given the fact that Kev can very easily just run straight there and fight the Kha'Zix in a 1v1, which Bel'Veth should probably win, especially if she can stop the Kha'Zix's jump. So what Kev should do here is actually farm Wolves for level 6, and then he should run to Rift Herald. So I know I talk about basing, right, and going to Rift, which is fine. It would be good here as well, after Wolves even, to maybe base and go to Rift Herald, if Kev had like a mythic item. So this base, just because Kev is only getting a small item, like whether it's recurve bow, he might get Cloak of Agility, right? In another game, you might get maybe like 1 or 2 longswords if you're like a serrated Dirk champion. Whatever it is here, you don't actually really need it to win this game or win this little, like, kind of next 30 seconds or something, right? He can easily just go to Wolves, the recurve bow, the Cloak of Agility. It's not going to change or, like, increase his chances really at all of winning. Of course, it does a little bit, but it's too redundant. He can stay on the map here because he's still going to be closer to Rift Herald after level 6 from Wolves, and then he can just run straight to Rift Herald if he thinks Kha'Zix is doing this. So this was a little bit slow, in my opinion. So that's really important to understand as well. Guys, hopefully this video is useful. If you want me to do more of these, like me kind of going back through sessions or games, please let us know. If there are games from Canyon or any high elo jungler you want me to go through as well for YouTube, I'm more than happy to. Just let me know what the actual video is. Maybe put a link in the comments or something. Thank you for watching. Any questions about the moves, let me know. I'll see you in the next video. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Don't be shit. Bye.